Should you visit Vietnam? Short answer, yes. Yes, you should. So I'm not going to bury the lead on whether you should visit Vietnam or not. In my opinion, if you're looking for somewhere new to visit that you haven't been to before, then yes, you should go to Vietnam. There are 3 reasons I'm going to outline why. There are obviously many more, but I think these 3 are probably the 3 most common reasons why people would visit a country. First reason is the cost. The cost can't be beaten. Vietnam has to be, it's certainly the cheapest country that I've traveled to. And I would suggest it's one of the cheapest countries to travel in the world. I imagine there are some Central Asian countries potentially that are as cheap or close to it. We're talking like Mongolia, or the stans, so Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, etc. But the cost, flying to Vietnam from Australia, you get a one-way flight for, as low as $300. It's a 9-10 hour flight. The cost of food, you're literally paying $2 to $3 a meal. And we're not talking, small servings either. They definitely fill you up. Drinks are cheap. If you want to drink alcohol, you're paying $1, $2, $3 for a beer. Obviously you can spend more if you want to go, craft beer routes, and if you want to go to higher end restaurants and pubs, and if you want to live a little more luxuriously. But if you're just looking to travel like a normal, live like a normal local, then yeah, the cost is, the cost is unbeatable compared to other travel destinations. Accommodation. I set myself a budget of $30 a night accommodation, and I spent in most cities well below that. Usually I was paying anywhere from about $15 to $20, and a lot of that accommodation was in hotels, apartments, having balconies, having access to doing your washing, things like that. I only stayed in a hostel, I think twice during the 6 weeks that I was there. And if you're staying in hostels, then you're paying less than $10 in most cases. And that's including in the main cities like Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, Da Nang. And then if you want to do an extended stay, you can book accommodation for a month at a time. And you'll be looking at, you can get an apartment for $500 for a month, which is just bonkers. I mean, I'd pay more than that in rent in a week back home in Australia. The second reason, and I'd say the most underrated one, the people. The people are some of the most friendliest people I've come across. They're helpful, They don't take advantage of you as a tourist. The kids, especially in the out of the big city areas, so the more rural places where tourists don't tend to go as much, they're so excited to actually see you. They wave, they say hello, they try to practice their English with you. Those, especially if you're solo traveling, those are the sort of, I guess, moments or interactions that really make your day. The elderly people are super friendly as well. They may not understand or speak English very well, but they'll find a way to communicate with you, especially when it comes to food. A lot of the little street restaurants are owned and run by the elderly. They do all the cooking, they serve you, and a lot of the time they'll, show you how to actually eat the food, which may sound silly, but there are certain dishes there which it's not just getting a fork and eating the food. So yeah, they're always really, really helpful. You can ask anybody really on the street or any of the shop owners if you have questions. They're always going to try and answer them for you as best as they can. Third reason, food. Probably the most important one. You can find food everywhere. There's just an endless amount of food options in Vietnam. Pretty much every street has food options, whether it be food stores, restaurants, cafes. There's just endless options. The thing that I enjoyed most about the food in Vietnam was all the variations of their noodle soup, which they call pho, or some of us say pho. There's certainly a difference in the food from the north to the south. It's not a huge difference, but it's just little variations with whether it be the same dish or there are particular dishes down south that you won't find up north and vice versa. Their desserts are really good. Lots of bakeries, lots of ice cream shops, lots of like those iced tea smoothie shops. Yeah, it's just an endless amount. And probably the best thing about the food in Vietnam was the consistency. I didn't have a bad meal. It's as advertised. It's quality, it's made as you order, always fresh. It's excellent. Again, just like the cost, it's hard to be beaten on food. Favorite city, Da Nang. It's a beach town, but it's also got an old city when you cross the bridge. It's chilled out. There's plenty of there's a really cool cafe culture there, coffee culture, plenty of nice restaurants, bars. There's a good mix of locals and tourists. The tourists are more so the ones that are living there. So you could say digital nomads. It's actually got a fair few sports bars, which is nice as well. If you're from the UK or Australia or the US, you can follow the sports. The cost, again, it's the same as everywhere in Vietnam. It's very affordable, plenty of food options. Actually, the food culture is pretty good there as well, especially at night time. A lot of the streets light up and there's just food options everywhere. So that's really, really good. It's also a very walkable city. There's good pathways for walking. The traffic's not too crazy like in the main cities in Hanoi and Saigon. So getting around is super easy. You can rent motorbikes, you can rent bicycles, which are also both pretty easy to ride around the city. You can also go hiking. So there are mountains that surround the city as well. So you've got beaches, you've got hiking, you've got the old city if you want to go exploring. I mean, what else do you want? Banana smoothie. My favourite's still mango, but this comes pretty close. You can taste the banana. It's thick, creamy, sweet. It's good. So my least favourite city in Vietnam, I'd say it's Mui Ne. It's basically one street. It's a little coastal town. There's just not much happening there. There is a fishing village which they market to be a nice place to go check out. But it's okay. It's just a little stretch of fishing boats on the water. There's a few cafes, restaurants there. But once you get past that, there really isn't much happening. There's one or two beaches which are a bit of a drive away. So you'll need a motorbike or a car. We're talking like 10-15 kilometers away. But when you're on the actual strip, it's just full of hotels, little restaurants and cafes which are overpriced for what they are. And to actually get through onto the water, you have to ask permission from the accommodation, from the hotels, which a lot of them won't allow you to go through unless you're staying there as a customer. So is it worth going there? Probably not. But if you've got the time and you still want to, then I'm sure you can find things to do. Picked up my shoes, had to get them washed after they got soaked the other night at futsal and I was smelling very bad. So the last one is transportation. Getting around Vietnam was extremely easy. I caught buses everywhere. There's a website called 12Go Asia, and you book all your buses to get from city to city. You can obviously get planes as well, but if you want to do it the budget option, the buses are pretty good. A lot of them are sleeper buses, which are not really made for taller people, so just keep that in mind. But they're affordable. They're on time. They've got the meeting point and the drop-off point, so you can work that out. Just very easy to get around the country. A lot of local transport options as well, local buses. Or you can just use Grab, which is very cheap as well. You might pay a couple of dollars for, you'll just pay a couple of dollars to go 5-10 kilometers. So very easy and cheap to get around Vietnam. So to finish this video, I'd say the only negatives that I experienced in Vietnam, first one, more of an annoyance than anything. You need to get a visa. At least Australians need to get a visa. You've got a couple of options. You can get a 30-day visa. You can get longer visas. So I think it's 45 days. And then you can get longer visas as well. The other negative was pollution, especially up north. When I was there, it was burning season as well. So as far as I understand, they'd burn plastic and other rubbish, which just it makes the air quality not that great. Actually really, really poor. So that is something to keep in mind. A lot of people wear face masks to help with that. So especially if you've got asthma problems or breathing problems, then that might be something to consider. A lot of the time there, it probably was sunny because it wasn't cloudy, but you didn't see much of the sun because of the pollution. They're really the only two negatives that I've got on my time in Vietnam. If anyone's got questions or any comments, feel free to leave a comment and I'll respond. Thanks for watching.